Hey, this is Brian Elaine with CrowdScribed, and this is 6.5 Questions with Justin Wise. Is it Justin David Wise?
No. If I tell you, you're not going to believe me. It's Justin McCullough Wise.
All right, we need a spelling.
So it's my mom's maiden name. Macalla is how you spell it.
Okay. Justin is the author of a book releasing, I think, in February 2014 called The Social Church. Is that right?
You got it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, man.
Yes, of course. It's you. Of course I'd be here.
All right, let's jump right in. Question number one. Did you just finish writing your book? Have you turned the manuscript in yet?
Yeah, it's all, well, I shouldn't say it's all done. The manuscript was due a couple months ago, and now it's just fine-tooth comb, edits, citing sources.
Yeah.
There's this whole tricky thing that you have with a publisher that you don't have when you write a blog. Like a blog, you don't have to cite anybody. Usually a hyperlink can suffice as a citing, but with books you got a little more meticulous, and
Yeah.
so we're going through that whole process right now.
From what you've done so far, which is, turn in a manuscript and start to work on edits, what has been the most surprising part of the process for you?
I will say that when you are presented with the opportunity to write a book, I'm reminded of the Seinfeld episode where they're like, why don't they bring the bill before the meal comes, right?
Right.
Because, you eat the meal, you're all full, everyone's thinking, hey, who's going to pay for this? I don't want to pay for it.
Right. Why are we paying for all this food? We're not hungry.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Book writing to me was the same way, where you're presented with this amazing opportunity to write a book, but you don't realize from the outset just how painful it can be to actually have to get through that process. So I was really surprised by just, Seth Godin talks a lot about the resistance. Of course, Stephen Pressfield introduced the concept. And that is it's so true. And I didn't realize just how agonizing getting words out from your brain onto a computer screen, how agonizing that process could actually be.
All right, question number two. You've got a blog, a newsletter, a podcast. Are you doing all that stuff because you're trying to be everywhere, or is that more kind of a function of your personality and just that you like to do a lot of different things?
It is a experiment. So the podcast is a great example of this. The podcast, Think Digital, was something that I just set out to do because I really liked that format. In high school and college, I did a bunch of radio. So we had a radio station in our high school. We had a radio station in the basement of our college cafeteria. So I loved doing radio, and podcasts have been kind of on this upswing. So I wanted to try it out and talk about stuff that I cared about: social media marketing, content marketing, email marketing, these sorts of things. And it absolutely took off, which I was not expecting. And I didn't put much hope into it. But now that it's taken off, I know that, hey, there's something with my audience that this podcast, it resonates with them in some capacity. Now, the podcast is way more popular than my blog is. Way more popular. So I wouldn't have known that had I not experimented. So I think I have a little entrepreneur kind of gene running in me. So it's just because of that, personality factor. I like to try new things and get them going and get them started anyway. But there's also a practical element to say, what are the people who are in my online community? How can I connect with them at the deepest level possible? And I think it's just trying out a bunch of different things.
Question number three. We kind of talked a little bit about one of the differences between blogging and writing a book. I'm curious about another difference, or if there's a difference at all, and that's in terms of voice. You've been blogging for a while, so you've kind of probably are comfortable with your blogging voice. Did you write the book with the same voice? Did you struggle with that at all?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge struggle because the blog, I think blogs by nature are informal.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily changing my personality, but it was changing the way that I presented that personality. A different channel, if you will. I think like Gordon Ramsay, right? He's got Hell's Kitchen, he's got MasterChef, he's got Kitchen Nightmares. He's all these different shows that he has, and I think each show shows a different aspect of his personality. And writing the book was the same way, where it showcased a different side of my personality.
Question number 4. As a social media guy, can you think of anything that authors will sometimes do on social media that kind of makes you cringe?
Not investing the right amount of time and thought and energy as an author to build up your social media platforms. Because here's why I say that. What you're seeing now is you see these guys and gals who are really proficient at connecting with people through social media. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they build huge networks and platforms. And now the power shift has become one where it used to be you write books, you get published, you get the audience. And now I think the balance has changed to you get the audience, you write the book, and then you get published. If you get published at all, you may want to self-publish. But it's that audience that is so key and crucial. And authors now, if you're not, the name brand recognized authors, like I don't know why, but I'm thinking of Stephen King or John Grisham, right? These types of guys.
Right.
You have to focus on building the audience, I think, first.
Question number 5. Of the last 10 books you've read, ballpark, how many do you think were physically on paper and how many were digital?
It's 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 is...
It's print, sorry.
It's print, it's paper.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're almost totally doing the digital thing.
Yeah, but I will say that it's surely because of convenience. I actually prefer reading with a print book. Mm-hmm. It's a different experience. You take in information, I think, differently when you have a book physically in your hands than when you're reading on a device. And I'm sure there's studies that support that, but that's just my anecdotal sense.
Question number 6. What are your ideal writing conditions? Maybe time of day, environment, anything like that?
So I have 2 small children, and the answer to this question differs daily.
Yeah.
If they got enough sleep the night before, if they didn't. If they did, then I get up super early.
Okay.
And just start my day like around 5:15, get ready, and then out the door to go write elsewhere. Not in my house, typically. It's somewhere else, coffee shop, this sort of thing. If they did not get enough sleep, then I stay up super late and drink whiskey and write.
Nice.
So there you have it.
So, but you can be just as productive at night as you can in the morning?
No. I would say opportune time to write easily is in the morning.
Okay.
I'm just in a better mindset. I'm drinking coffee
instead of whiskey.
Yeah, sometimes there's whiskey in my coffee, but that's not true.
So maybe write at night and edit in the morning.
Yes, right. There you go.
Whatever that famous quote is. Write drunk and edit sober.
Yes.
All right, last question. Question number 7. White meat or dark meat?
Dark.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Shame on you. Come on.
9 times out of 10, man. It's got that rich fattiness. I watch too much Chopped, so I start using these terms like it's cloyingly sweet. Now, with dark meat's got that fattiness. It's always, in my opinion, it's always better out of the fridge.
We can agree to disagree on that one.
Yes.
You can find Justin online at justinwise.net. That's where you get information about his book that's coming out again February 2014 and his podcast and all that. And if you want to connect with readers and authors, find great books, and even publish one of your own, you can visit CrowdScribed.com. Justin, thanks so much for your time.
You bet.